I own Haven Veterinary Hospice and Senior Care and an aquamation facility, Tranquil Waters. And today, my co moderator is Kate Carlson. She's also a certified hospice palliative care veterinarian in Wisconsin with Circle of Life for Pets. And today, our bizmate is Christy Cornelius out of Texas. And I will let Kate do her introduction.
Good morning, everybody. This is Christy Cornelius. She is a certified hospice and palliative care veterinarian and entrepreneur in the veterinary end-of-life sector. She founded 5 startups in the last 10 years, including 2 pet hospice and euthanasia practices, an aquamation service, a software development firm that developed electronic tracking software for pet crematories, and a nonprofit organization called the Last Wishes Fund. Christy sold her successful mobile hospice and veterinary and euthanasia service to Blue Pearl veterinary specialists in 2021. She's currently practicing as a hospice veterinarian in her new startup, Fair Winds Pet Hospice on Galveston Island, in addition to studying to obtain her executive MBA degree from Rice University in Houston, Texas. And as if that's not enough, Christy is also a recent addition to the board of directors at the IAA-HBC, where she hopes to use her talents to work to elevate the overall experience the organization offers to its members, especially in the area of business development and strategy, hence us being here today.
Thank you guys so much. So good to be here. We've got a lot of things to get through, and so I won't waste any time, but I wanted to also shout out our sponsor for today's meeting. Actually, the whole month is Lap of Love, and so we thank them for sponsoring this event and allowing it to happen. So I'm going to share my screen if I can. Perfect. Okay. So I've been a part of a lot of discussions about, creating a business plan and a strategy. And it's kind of a toss up as to, what the right approach is. And I think really in the end, it is all variable, and it depends on each specific business, how you go about, figuring out what your vision and your values are in order to create your strategic plan. And so it involves a lot of decision making, lots of different factors. This here, I'm just going to provide you kind of a basic framework for both situations. And then we'll go through a little bit of information. And then my last slide is going to be a list of questions. And we can, if you guys want, use to go ahead and start the peer discussion afterward. So I'm going to try to get this finished up in 15 minutes and then hand it off to the moderators. And then we can go ahead and have our discussion. So, okay. Your business will probably fail. And that's according to statistics. 90% of startups fail by year 10, and 50% fail within the first 5 years. Can you imagine that is like a coin toss? And so, you have an equal chance of making it and not making it. And so what are you going to do in that coin toss? How are you going to speed or slow the velocity and the number of flips to get it to land where you need it? And so that's what the plan is meant to do. And so you will have competition, and they may be better than you. You will need to know more than you already know. You will need money to spend. And you will not immediately become rich. Maybe in the future, but the path is narrow, long, and it's really hard. So you need to obey all the laws. So perform your due diligence. And you can't do it by yourself. There's actually a lot of studies out there that suggest having a co-founder will actually increase the chance of your business success by 50%. And so just keep that in mind. But I know there's a lot of solopreneurs, including myself. And so it can be done. It's definitely tough, takes a lot of, dedication. But yeah, you have to try to find your outside emotional support if you are by yourself. So your customers won't come flocking. So you got to do some marketing. And you're going to want to quit. Are you sure you still want to do this? So let's talk a little bit about the difference between a business plan and a strategic plan. The business plan is really set up for new businesses. It provides a framework of strategies. It's a successful execution of the strategies that end in the creation of a new business entity. It also helps with the elements like operations and securing funding. A strategic plan is a plan that existing businesses use to implement when they want to improve their business processes and streamline their operations. It helps companies to focus their efforts on transitioning the organization into a new direction, and one that will hopefully bring about positive and long-lasting results. So what's in a plan? There are three major parts. No matter where you kind of look for different plans, different ideas and templates, they all kind of funnel into these three major parts. You're going to have an organizational plan, a financial plan, and a marketing plan. In your organizational plan, you want to figure out who's doing what, how, when, and why. You're basically taking the time to build the machinery inside your entity. And so how are you going to figure out how to turn your services into revenue? And so it's really important to have a clear vision in mind, and that if you are working with a team or a co-founder, that you guys are clear on what that vision is and you're aligned on that vision. And you want to make sure that that is in place first before you take another step forward. It's also very important to be aware of what your values are. It seems so abstract, but if you actually take the time and really kind of narrow it down to about 5, it certainly will help you, especially as you grow. Those values that you have listed, you make all of your decisions using those values, okay? And everything that you design to develop within your practices, you use those values. And so that is the backbone of everything moving forward. And it is the reason that you use it in hiring. And so you want to make sure that, those people that you're hiring also understand what those values are. They understand the vision and they're completely on board with it. Knowing the market sector is really important as well. There's a lot of resources out there available to do some market study. The AVMA is a helpful resource for that to start. You can do a general Google search for those items. A lot of times when you get to a certain point, they're going to ask for money to get a full report. I don't think in this small niche that's necessary, but if you have questions beyond what's presented for free, you can just let us know and we can help walk you through those. Your financial plan, I think probably this is the most important, and you want to make sure you have this right. And for a lot of us, veterinarians, we don't have a business background. And so, without that, we're making a lot of our decisions using our guts and our instincts and following kind of what our predecessors have done and been successful doing. And so the good thing is that this is we're in a really rapid growth stage for this niche. And so it's a little bit more difficult, not to be successful here. And so some of the important things, concepts, and you can, look these ideas up. You want to make sure you understand what your assets, your liabilities, and your equity is. And this relates to your financial statements. And so anybody that has bookkeeper or CPA, just make sure that you're meeting with them actually face-to-face or via Zoom on a regular basis so that you can kind of wrap your head around your numbers. And so your net income is going to be your sales minus your cost of goods sold. And so you want to make sure that you understand what that is, what that means, and how it affects, your growth rates or, your revenue. Cash flow is the best indicator of a company's financial health. It basically tells you how much cash you have to play with. And so how much cash do you have saved up to hire that next employee, to buy that new pieces of equipment, to get into that new building, right? And so we want to try to minimize the amount of debt that we take on as we go through these practices, because as you know, we are limited to how much revenue by the nature of what we do. We see one patient an hour, one patient every 2 hours, right? And so you just want to be really cognizant of that. Your marketing plan, you want to make sure you get this part right. And we do have people within the organization that have a lot of experience with this. And so we're going to be bringing some of their ideas to the table. And so certainly open that up for, an expert. So you want to make sure you have your marketing initiatives in place and your market share projections. And so overall, your take home is that planners are more successful. The difference between the business plan and a strategic plan, and then the parts of a plan that include the organizational plan, the financial plan, and the marketing plan. And certainly don't go it alone. If you're having difficulty finding a mentor or just somebody to kind of, just talk to, and, somebody that understands, those people are out there, and, just, reach out if you're having any problems finding somebody. I'll, be more than glad to help you out there. So, and I will go ahead and I'm going to pass it off to the moderators and we can start our discussions.